All right, so we're gonna start that. We're gonna start.
And then Chrome just decided to throw me all this. Oh, because it's 9 o'clock. All of these pop-ups. Oh, hey, there's a hangout with.
It's 9 o'clock.
That's a hangout with you and Adafruit starting their shows, and
So we could go watch a show on Adafruit.
yeah, they do a couple of different live shows.
Well, screw this. Let's just go watch that.
Oh no! We got to do our own show. We've got this commitment to our viewers, even though we're going to ditch them.
What, both
for
of them?
Next week.
Okay. All right then. In that case, we won't watch the Adafruit show. Although I do need to catch up on Penn and Teller's Fool Us. I could do that after the show. No, I gotta get ready for bed after. I guess I'll have to watch that tomorrow. All right.
But also, People of Earth. I think episode 2 of season 2 is starting tonight, or is on tonight.
Well, I still got to watch season 1.
Oh, you got to get in there and watch that. It is hilarious.
All right. Well,
although like the opening episode for this season, there were more questions than they had answers to close up from the prior season. You had a cliffhanger, and then holy shit, they brought up all these other things. I counted at least a dozen items, and I posted with Rob on Facebook about it. So there's so many things. He says, well, and the episode was it's only 30 minutes long.
And speaking of Rob on Facebook, he does a show too, apparently.
Yes. And I wanted to talk about that last week, but we didn't get to it. I think we should talk to him about either joining us a little bit or getting into his show.
Right.
His show is still evolving.
Well, yeah, I kind of want to let him find his show. I mean, that's why I didn't really comment on the Power Glove thing.
Sure.
I mean, people were writing questions to him, and it was like, I could answer all these, and I'm like, well, no, I'm not going to do a show for him. Let's let him talk about the Power Glove. But after the show, I was like, yeah, it sucks. And you should have mentioned Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you see, you're the guy that knew about it. I didn't want to say steal your spot.
Right. You pointed out to him like, hey, I think he owns one. And I was kind of stepping back to let him field the question since it was his show. I got my show. I've talked about the Power Glove on my show. But since the show is over, I threw my 2 cents in since you kind of gave me up. But I think this is a show about telling people about other shows that they might prefer to listen to than this show.
That's what we're doing?
I think that's what we're doing, because so far we've recommended People of Earth, Penn and Teller's Fool Us, Rob's podcast. What else did we recommend? The Adafruit. So we're up to like 5 options of shows other than ours that people could be listening to right now.
Well, but we're not on all the time, so hey, if you need to catch a show, Venison goes off and catches a show, and then he joins us.
Yeah, Venison also does a show. He does Venison Stew,
and that's okay.
And that's okay. And you don't want to go to one of those shows right now because we've only mentioned 6 shows so far.
And we're live right now.
And we've got a whole lot of other shows.
Watching it later than now.
I think we should just advertise different shows. You see, we won't just advertise the same thing every week. We'll advertise different things every week, and it's just 2 hours of no, that's an awful idea. So I think
that's right. Bring up all these shows probably just confuses people. Like, what the fuck are these guys talking about?
So I think what we should do.
We didn't even get to Doctor Who yet.
So I think what we should do.
Doctor Who. That's very important.
It is, and I think a lot of people have talked about that.
True. Yeah.
But you know what we should do? There's one show we did forget to mention.
What?
That's our show. Because the show you really want to listen to is...
Insert title here.
And that's hosted by me, Johnny Gators, and also hosted by Brian Blues, who's also with us.
Yeah.
And
I'm clapping for myself.
There you go. Yeah. Oh, we even get cheers. There we go. But okay, cool.
Not that we want to overdo it.
No. We would never. No, there's only like 5 people in that audience. That's like one of those, like, live concerts from the radio station studio where you hear like 5 people clapping between the songs. It's kind of pathetic, but it's still kind of cool. But
pull up that video I linked to you. I think it was on Twitter about this drum machine that the guy working for Steely Dan did.
Oh, Roger Nichols.
Yeah, Roger Nichols. Did you watch that, or you knew about that?
I was at work when that came up, and I filed that under things I need to look at later, and usually I don't remember to do that. So let me go and scroll back here a bit. Oh, that's right. We were talking about clogs, which, no, they're Crocs. They're Crocs, Brian. They're Crocs. They're not clogs.
Right. That's right. They're Crocs.
They're Crocs. Know your footwear.
Of course, Croc is a brand name, and a clog is a generic name.
But a clog is a dancing shoe, and I don't think I would dance in something that looks like that.
Right. Of course, you shouldn't be out in the sun with that either. From the picture of that guy's foot.
That looked photoshopped to me.
It could have been.
Just my. All right, let's see. All right. Clearly, I've scrolled too far. Now, you did mention me in it, so it should be in my. Let's see. Sex wearable is coming to TRICARE. No. Computer department gave me a call about a virus on my computer. Nope. Human fidget spinner. Human pet rock. You just all about this pet rock thing. Oh, here we go. A perfect drum machine. So yeah, Roger Nichols was one of the producers or studio cats that was involved with Steely Dan and helped them get the sounds they got in the studio. So I guess this video has him. Wendell, pioneer in digital drum replacement.
I met Roger when we first put Steely Dan together and we were doing the first records. Roger's standard of recording was so high, he was almost obsessed.
He was a scientist and he was a brainiac. Every little detail added up to the quality.
Now, this is a 3.5-minute video, and we got our own little show here. I guess, is there a highlight we should hit here?
Well, when you get into the technical details of sort of how it worked. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, I see. I think
technology from the 80s.
You can make this work out, right? You can loop this or do something. And I said, sure.
I remember walking in one day. Roger had made a loop, a drum loop, that went from the studio into the hallway over a chair. It went about, I would say, the equivalent of 4 different rooms. I had never seen anything like that before.
We were in the studio one day. Donald wasn't happy with a drum track, and he turned to Roger and said, "Can't you make a fucking machine that would be perfect?"
I did build a machine to help things out, but the criteria was to so that you couldn't tell at all that it was a machine.
We laughed about it. I mean, Donald and I would laugh about it, and Walter, it wasn't going to work. So when Roger came in with Wendell, which was, at the time, it was a big piece of gear, heavy, well, he plugged it in, and he turned the screen on. All this digital stuff is X's and O's and this. It was,
ones and zeros,
software.
maybe?
He was able to write the software.
So this was something they used on the album that I hate of theirs. That sounds like.
Right.
That makes a lot of sense. That would.
But the other thing, like the Asia album DVD they came out with, they had a couple of different drummers on there that were, shall we say, live drummers.
And they did
never talked about drum machines, I don't believe.
No, so the song they were just playing, "Hey 19," was off of the one after Asia, Gaucho. And I always felt that album sounds very cold and sterile compared to Asia. Now, Asia's a very tight album, but it's definitely played by, tight live musicians, and I always felt like there was something in Gaucho that was missing, that they just sucked the soul right out of Steely Dan. And so that makes sense that they were using a drum machine on that album. I don't know if that's where they're going with this clip. I'll have to watch the whole thing.
And see, that's my point as well, is like, of course, every drum machine I've had was just, a piece of junk.
Right.
And, our drum track on a keyboard, you can put in that bump, 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 bump drum track. And again, it sounds sterile, and I hate them. In fact, my little jazz trio that I play with, we've played around with the drums on our keyboardist's machine, and we just kind of rejected it. We really like to have a real, in fact, I would just say, hey, a percussionist, someone that can go.
No, a drum machine is good if you want the sound of a drum machine. If you don't want the sound of a human, and you do something unique with it, or throw down a little fun, something that's fun. Peter Barron, a guy I worked with a while ago, he had a fun drum machine, but it was certainly stuck in the '80s, and something like, this is kind of a fun beat that you could have a little fun with.
Sure.
And it sounds like a time period. And, they basically threw this little demo together. This is Peter Barron with Chasm Sultan, just kind of throwing a little thing down in the afternoon. And it's a fun song. I like listening to it.
Sure.
But
are you going to take it serious? As serious musicians?
Well, not all hits are serious.
Sure.
Absolutely. The thing is that there is there are both kinds of music, serious and the fun produced commercial that's not necessarily serious.
Milli Vanilli, right?
Milli Vanilli, bubblegum.
People took them serious, realized, hey, wait a minute, these guys are just lip syncing, and they got in trouble for it.
There was nothing serious about it.
Which to me is kind of the hypocrisy of the whole music industry. Wait a minute, you fucking didn't know these guys were just lip syncing?
Exactly. Someone knew. But there have been some fun serious uses of drum machine. Todd Rundgren's a pretty serious musician.
Sure.
And in 1973, he played around with a little bit of drum machine stuff. Let's see. Where is it? This song has some of it from 73.
The blessing of the turtles, the eggs lay on the lawn, paint a pretty picture for me to sit upon. The calling of the rabbit, the falling of the hare, the hat bending begins to play, the song is everywhere.
But then again, that was Todd Rundgren recording every part by himself on an album, while doing lots of drugs. So, which is my favorite Todd Rundgren album.
But when you talk live, like we saw Dan Fogelberg twice when we lived in Colorado. The first time we were in fact, and it was the same place. It was a gymnasium up at Fort Collins, on a college campus.
Right.
So the first time we were there, he brought this small 3 or 4 piece band that did the background, while he did his thing. And that was really cool. And the second time he showed up with a band on, and he even said it. This is a band. I brought my band on a chip.
A band on a chip. Yeah.
Okay. So, it didn't sound that bad because, hey, we came to watch him.
But it's not the same as seeing a band.
But I really prefer the band, And in fact, when he had the band, I don't recall him giving credit to them. But that's typical.
No, I think typical at some point you do introduce the band members. That's kind of shitty you didn't do that.
He may have. I don't recall. It's been a while.
But I've seen Todd Rundgren in concert at least 3 times. Trying to think if I or twice. Did I see him a third time? I saw him one time at what he was doing was he was playing solo by himself, And he kind of came out, did a few songs on the guitar, just himself and guitar, sat at the piano, did some songs himself and piano, and his songs work well that way. And then for the second half of the song, he plugged in a chip, like an iPod or something, hit play, and basically had a backing track with him that he just sat there and kind of did his medley of hits and it was good. It was, he's there singing to the track, but yeah, I kind of felt like you don't want to feel disappointed, but looking back at that was, and I did get a chance to see him more recently, about a year ago. He was touring with a band, playing through a lot of his hits and stuff like that. And he actually had a band with Chasm Sultan and people he's played with, and that was a much better experience. And they were rocking out a full live band. So it's but it's also nice. Todd's one of those artists that you could see him just sit by himself at a piano, and that's an experience. But although the second half that had him playing the tape was, not that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you kind of go, okay, so where do you draw the line? When I was in college, I lived at my folks' place. It was on a lake in Massachusetts.
Uh-huh.
And there were a couple of bars on the lake, and a college buddy of mine came over, and we went to this bar. Okay. So you had some of the ladies in there wearing the swimming suits.
Mm-hmm.
That worked. But then they also had this band, and I said, oh, I see, that's a 3.5-piece band, because you had the guitar player, you had a guy on keyboards, and then some other instrument. Oh, and the half was a tape recorder that was playing the drum track.
Ah, there you go, the tape drums.
Yes. Yes, so that was the good old days.
Yes.
I guess they snagged the drummer, put him in a corner, and says, okay, lay down some drum tracks for us.
There you go. Another, but actually, I have another good. Let's see. Here we go. This album uses some good drum machines. See, you can use it to kind of throw down a beat, but here's what they do: they put live drums on top of it.
Baby, listen to me. Oh, yeah.
See, now that's cool.
That is cool. Yeah. But I mean, a live guy can be so precise that you can't tell the difference between, is that guy live or is he just a machine?
Right. This one's also good with the live drummer plus machine. But the drum machine's getting sounds that the drum's not getting. So it's like, people are treating it as a new instrument that makes a different sound than a live drummer. And,
well, the whole line between musician and DJ is blurred, right? You go in and that guy, he's a DJ. No, he's a musician. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't, that's just the way it is. I don't have a problem so much.
And then, of course, you got... I always love the sounds of this type of drum machine. But, yeah. I think that's the type of thing that something's actually physically hitting something in a rhythm that it's programmed to...
Well, I mean, if a guy could... And this is common nowadays. He does his drumming... and then pops the button, and now it's a loop.
Yeah. Nowadays you got a computer to make a loop for you.
Next instrument, and he's playing against it. Which is, I'm okay with that.
Oh yeah, no, that's cool. When you get someone that could just make loops on the fly in front of an audience, now that's a performance right there.
Yeah, and I know this bass player. He does a lot of solo work, and his big signature thing is doing looping.
Yeah.
Of all kinds of different sounds. And it could be bass. It could be, something else.
There was a guy I saw do something like that. It was the guy that opened for Conan when he was doing that tour in between gigs. I think it was Reggie Watts. And he did this one part where he was just making loops with his voice, and he just kept adding another loop on top and on top of it and on top. It was kind of silly, kind of a comedian, but kind of doing it was he was very talented.
Oh, do you ever listen to Jack Black stuff?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, in fact, I didn't realize that he actually had a band way before his, School of Music.
Right.
School
yeah,
of
Tenacious
Rock
D.
came out.
Yeah.
Tenacious D, right. There you go. I couldn't think of the name. It's like, all right. And people kind of say, hey, you're just fooling around. Yeah, I get that. But you could be a serious musician if you really wanted to. And he says, I know I could, but I don't want to. I want to do this.
And he made a successful career out of it.
Exactly, right. And he's gotten into acting.
Yeah.
Of course, music, a big part of music is doing a performance, right?
Right. And he's a good performer, actor. I mean, he kind of, found a career doing what he wanted to do.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyways, if anyone wants to contribute to this, NHB Live is up on Skype and AOL Instant Messenger and I think Google Talk. Has anyone mentioned Google Talk lately? Does that exist? Maybe that doesn't exist anymore. But add NHB Radio on Twitter if you want to use something relevant. Although Skype is still relevant. And of course, we got the phone number up, which is a series of numbers that you push into the phone, which is 984-6 NHB-RADIO, 984-664-2723. So if anyone wants to participate, you could do that. And heck, our Twitter account now feeds onto our homepage. So isn't that amazing?
That is amazing.
That is amazing, yeah. And so, yeah. And you should be following our Twitter account. If you're not, why not? It's at NHB Radio. Go follow it now. And if you want to see cat pictures, at Brian Blues. And if you want to see tweets that would piss off Dune, at Johnny Gators.
That's right.
That's kind of my criteria these days. Has this account not been blocked yet, and will it piss off Dune? I'm kind of kidding there. That's not real. Well, kind of. I don't.
Oh, so should we have a pie moment?
A pie moment?
A pie moment before we get into the political?
Okay. What's the pie
moment? Okay.
Pie.
There
I
you
like
go.
Apple.
Picking that mic stand again. I'll need to figure that one out. That's the one that's connect to Alexa. Who kicked the mic stand?
Sorry, something went wrong.
See?
Yeah, someone kicked the mic stand. All right, so you got a pie.
Okay, got a pie. I hope I can move this. Okay. Couple of things. Let's see. I have to move this thing around.
You got a box with some chips in there.
So I got the pie on the back of this thing, right?
Okay.
And what is this?
That's a LCD screen of some sort.
7-inch screen, touch screen.
That's a big 7-inch.
Yeah, that's right. Big 7-inch. Oh, and there's a stub for a keyboard, which is over there. That's the small thing.
Yeah.
And a big hunkin' battery.
Okay, that powers it. Okay.
So and then this thing here with the little light charges that battery.
Okay.
So I can unplug and walk around with this thing. It's cool.
Okay.
And then, because typically, you don't have all that extra stuff. And then, I've got a plastic case for the back. But then I also got a little fan.
Oh, okay. So you're going to keep it cool.
Yeah, so it will be cool.
That's cool.
Oh, there's a little thermometer on here, and I can't see what it's.
So what are you building this to do?
To make it mobile.
so that you can
take it around or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to have a portable Pi.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, the only thing wrong with these, the big honking case is, you can get to the USB port. And let me get closer to the microphone since we don't have to look at that anymore. So
you need to build like a build the battery in
the USB ports. Yeah, I got away with mounting the battery, but you can't get to the memory card to make it easy to swap out. So if you pop this was Raspbian, could pop that out in Pi or something else. That's not easy to do because it's buried in the mechanism. So
you got to kind of pick what you want it to be.
Pull it all out, and right, exactly. So that's kind of the downside of it at this point.
Yeah, I could see that being a down, because it would be convenient if you could, swap micro SD cards, and then they could switch between different OSs, different builds easily.
Right, exactly. Or like when this, what my finding is that, if the machine shuts down accidentally or whatever, or crashes, you have to bring it back up. A lot of times the memory cards get corrupted.
Yeah, that could be a problem.
And as far as I can tell, there's really no way to recover it. Just reformat it and reinstall.
Yeah, which is a pain.
You could go into backups, but that's also just a pain in the butt. So
there is that.
I don't have anything on there that I would consider important that I would need to back up. So I don't.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like, because Emily ran into a situation similar to that, not with a Pi, but with some of the Lenovo laptops. She was setting up for her kids, and she was looking for a way to set the laptops up that would be convenient for the kids to use, to run the programs they want to use, that they could lock down how they want to. And so they found basically a what's the word I'm looking for? Phone OS, Droid, some kind of an Android OS that is targeted towards setting up a system for your kids that you could install on the laptop. And the only problem with that Droid OS is that it really didn't tap into the battery life to demonstrate to you when your battery's dying and when you need to charge it. So it made it difficult to track when you needed to plug in the laptop and how much battery life you have. And they only want to charge them overnight because they're US model laptops, and they do have a tendency to overheat a bit. So they basically plug them in overnight when they're not in use. And so they did find that without being able to track it easily, they would just run it till the juice completely ran out and the thing would just poof, turn off. And that caused the laptop to sometimes get corrupt, and you have to reinstall the whole thing from the start again. So they're still working on tweaking that, but that's
and actually with this Raspberry Pi, that's sort of the same problem. If the battery would get low, it has no idea. It doesn't automatically shut down. In fact, I run these. I think I talked about these Boink projects.
Boink.
It just cranks away on finding aliens or finding a new number or whatever, and it hammers the CPU. So like that one is actually running at 100%. Oh, so that's why you need the fan to keep the CPU cooler. This CPU will throttle itself back for being too hot, but again, there's no sense on whether there's any battery in it or not.
Right.
On the Androids, in fact, the Android driver for the Boink project says, hey, if I'm on battery power, I can shut this off. So I'm not looking for aliens when it's only on battery. But I plug it in and boom, we're looking for aliens again.
Yeah, that's an option.
So that's good. It can sense that. That's part of the software.
But that still doesn't give you a battery meter, which would be the real.
Well, it also does a battery meter, but will it automatically shut itself down when it gets?
Yeah.
Actually, in fact, it probably does. Well, if it's a real shutdown, because in a lot of the circuitry for batteries, if the battery power gets too low, it will shut itself down, saving the battery. But if the signal doesn't go to the CPU to tell the thing to shut down, then you're screwed. And that's the missing link, is the piece. Well, I think our Pi minute is up.
I think
People
so.
are going, what the fuck are they talking about?
So this just in, we still have health care.
Hey, holy crap. Hey, thanks, John McCain. I never thought I'd say that.
I never thought I'd say it too. Oh, by the way, that's a lovely ceiling fan you have up there on your ceiling.
All right. I need to change that again.
We've decided
that's much better.
We decided we must put appropriate music in the background when discussing politics to help, do every little bit we can to try to keep upbeat. But hey, actually, this is kind of. I mean,
tension, right?
The bad news is we still got a Trump, and I think there's something about people in his cabinet sucking their own cocks. Is there something like that going on? I don't. Apparently, and speaking of people who suck their own cocks, we got Venison on the line.
Oh, I wish I could. Yes, I'm so glad.
Is that a problem with dexterity? Is that a problem with dexterity or length?
Dexterity.
So you've tried.
I'm so glad we have healthcare because I need it so bad. I got four medications. I gotta go in for heart testing. Wednesday, and hopefully there'll be no storms.
To be honest, I'm kind of surprised because the thing is that the bottom line is any of the healthcare plans they were proposing. If you ask the Republican which of these two plans would you prefer, one that's being proposed by a GOP or Obamacare, they would prefer the one that's being proposed by the GOP between the choices of A or B. But they weren't seeing it that way, and that's what I wasn't getting, because to me it's like, if the GOP doesn't at the end of the day pass something, they look very weak and like a bunch of fools dancing around to old-timey piano music. And I thought that this whole no thing was just negotiations to try to get in every last thing they want to, but once it came down to a final vote, there was going to be at least 50 votes. But it actually went to the point of skinny repeal, which, at this point, they're not even trying to pass a bill. They're just trying to pass another opportunity to say, yeah, we really hate that thing. Let's get rid of it. Who cares if we have nothing for you? Which, irresponsible and stupid. So
I don't know if you heard Mark Cuban was just talking about health care. And I retweeted a bunch of his stuff. And he says, hey, I don't have the answer. I mean, he's not a politician. He's just a businessman. But, he kind of goes, single payer may not be the thing either. But, let's have a discussion. And I think that guy's serious about it.
Well,
Mark Cuban, I think, would be a much better president than the orange idiot that we have.
Well, that's not saying much. I mean,
just about anybody would.
I think I've got a rag of god-awful stuff on my floor that make a better president than the current one we've got.
Yeah.
30 years, New Jersey, New York's put up with him. We warned you. We tried to tell you. But you wouldn't listen.
But the thing is that I'm actually surprised that at the end of the day they passed nothing, because that really puts them in a very weak position. You figure at the end of the day, when they're presented with the choice of either Obamacare stays or you pass something that you're not all that happy with, that they throw a compromise together and put it through just because, well, at least it's better than Obamacare, and once again step in what they consider the right direction. But wow, they're really dysfunctional.
Well, but, you know, one of the ideas is let's ditch Mitch McConnell.
Yes.
Throw him under the bus, over the bus, through the bus. They don't care. And we'll put in Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz will be much better, right?
I don't think McConnell's going anywhere, though.
No, he's not.
You know, but McConnell's proven that he's very good at obstruction, but once it was his turn up at the plate to actually produce something, he doesn't got it. He just, plain and simple, he's only good for one thing, obstruction, which has been the game.
Of course, Mitch McConnell and John McCain, those guys are rhinos.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter that they've been in the Republican Party for a long time. You know, Republican in name only, a rhino.
Right.
And they want to get rid of them because a smaller party is a stronger party. I mean, after all, that works for every dictator, right?
That's an interesting thing, that I am seeing a shift towards a further split between Trump and the Republican Party. The Republican Party has been trying to do this embracing Trump thing, and Trump has kind of been figuring out that he needs them to pass things. But now the Republican Party is like, hey, you know what? This didn't work. We're moving on. And Trump's like, no. You go back, pass a health care bill. And it's like, dude, we've kind of kicked that dead horse for a while. It ain't happening. And then what was the other thing? I was like, but yeah, it just seems to be that they are. And then Trump wants them to go nuclear, which just goes to show the short-sightedness of Trump. Because at least McConnell is smart enough to not go nuclear with legislation. Because if they go nuclear,
not use the legislation.
They go nuclear and
they
just put
everything to be reelected.
Right. They're not going to keep control of the Senate indefinitely, and they're probably going to lose it in 2018. So then, if they go nuclear, what are the Democrats going to do when they get back in? They're going to ram in everything they want, except that the House will block it all. But that pendulum's got to swing eventually, too.
Yeah. Exactly.
No. The thing is I think we've proven, both parties have participated in this, and you can debate till the cows come home who started this. The point is, I think we have demonstrated beyond a shadow of a doubt that this whole partisan bickering and forcing our thing through and shutting the other side out isn't working for anyone. We got what we got right now. We need bipartisan solutions. Republicans aren't going to go it alone. They tried. They can't. What does that leave us with? Bargaining with the other side, coming up with something bipartisan that's good for everyone.
Sure.
Like the Senate is meant to do, hence the whole 60 votes thing.
Well, there are some guys that think we should repeal the 17th Amendment.
Which one is that?
That would make a big difference. That's the one that, well, you know, senators used to be appointed by the governors.
Don't vote for the senators.
The amendment is now elected by the people, and they think that'll make a difference.
It'll make a difference.
Any difference in California.
Well, it'll
probably New York either.
It'll make a difference for the worse, because it's kind of like the superdelegates. It'll give more control to the insiders and have appointments based on connections. And, you know, it's, well...
Oh, yeah, that's what they want.
Yeah, so, no, that's of course we all are...
But they haven't been thinking about it.
Anyways...
Have they been thinking that through at all?
No one's seriously thinking about repealing that.
No, that's not going to happen. That's right.
No.
Don't mess with the Constitution.
In fact, when people bring that up, I said, well, I'd rather see term limits for members of Congress.
Exactly. Let's do that.
And people on the left and the right agree with that.
Yes.
I've proven that on Twitter, because I'll do it on both sides. And
that is a bipartisan thing.
Absolutely.
Is there any way we can get that in without having to have Congress voted in? Because we got.
I think it can go state by state. You know, the state of California has put term limits on almost every political position,
except for federal
legislature. within the state.
But does the state set
so
the term limits on the federal offices that they appoint?
No. Just the internal ones. So governor, the state legislatures, a lot of city government places.
And I think I think most governors have term limits. I think that's fairly standard. I don't know how across the board that is, but certainly I know, for example, Christie's in his second term. He's not come back, and even if he could,
I think that's why he will do anything he wants, including
heckling baseball fans.
Baseball fans, or going to the beach when it's closed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they take his picture and they send it all over the place.
It's okay.
That's hilarious.
It's okay. He wasn't getting any sun because he was wearing a hat.
Oh, the memes were awesome for that.
No, but have you seen the latest clip of him getting in that guy's face that was heckling him?
No.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he was at a Cubs game, or no, a Brewers game, and there was or something. He's at a baseball game, and some guy heckled him, called him a hypocrite, and he turned around and said, "Why don't you have another beer?" or something like that. And the guy figured, all right, okay, we had our exchange. And then he starts walking towards him, while grasping nachos in his hand with an iron grip. I'm not making this up. He's literally holding. He could have handed the nachos to someone else, knowing that his picture's about to be taken, looking menacingly at a innocent spectator. Well, not innocent. Okay, my apologies.
An innocent heckler, right?
An innocent heckler, a not innocent heckler. He's got his big extra loaded nachos, iron grip in his hands, gets right up to this guy, right in his face, like, "Oh, you think you're a hot shot?" You know? Right in his, like, "You want to make something of this?" You know? And then he, got away and walked away, having made his point.
Now, at that point, if the dude was big and burly, could have stood there and said, "This guy has gotten right in my face. He was threatening me. So I had to defend myself," and clocked him right in the face.
Oh, no, the guy was kind of a...
Was this assault with a deadly thing of nachos?
No. Christie protected the nachos.
Oh, he's protecting the nachos.
He was No, he wasn't going to use the nacho. No, he was...
Okay. Not like the podium that Spicer had.
This was a subtle fat joke that I was kind of throwing in there, based on truth. He was holding the nachos, and he held them tight. And he is fat. Just saying.
Close to his heart.
Yes.
Close to his heart attack.
Close to his heart attack. Here we go. I think I got the footage here.
Wow, I actually just typed that word.
What, Chris Christie?
No, heart attack.
Heart attack.
Yeah, I'm filling out a form for SSI.
Let's see if I could show this little clip for those that haven't seen this yet. It's great. Basically, whoever had video footage did not actually get in until the very end of the exchange. However, it's buffering and not actually loading properly, and it's just playing 6 seconds of nothing. So way to go, CNN. Let's try reloading the page.
Hey, I was watching a video earlier that was just a black screen like that, but I did get sound.
Yeah, I'm not even getting sound.
I went to play it again, it was starting to show the videos like, wait a minute, I already heard this.
Yeah, these updates are getting a little freaking messed up lately. A lot of different apps and programs.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna stop that, and we'll.
Because they want it to be Windows 10 specific.
But you could see enough of it to see that that guy was definitely in his face.
Oh yeah. Chris Christie was having none of that.
Did you see the clip when Bill Maher couldn't get security to take this heckler out of the studio or studio audience?
Okay.
So he went down himself to throw the guy out.
Nice.
Yeah, that was several years ago, but yeah, that was kind of cool.
Makes for good TV.
It does kind of show that Bill Maher can be a jackass. you know, that's his show, so he can do what he wants, right?
Well, yeah. You know what? You got to have more respect for someone that does it themselves rather than get one of their like goons to go down there and do their dirty work for them.
To our index now.
All right, here we go. Let's see if I think this might have the video right here. So let's go ahead and share that and let's see.
And the new video just coming in tonight. New Jersey Governor Chris Christie caught on camera apparently losing his temper with a fan. It happened at a Cubs-Brewers baseball game in Milwaukee. Governor Christie.
See, extra loaded nachos, iron grip. Just saying.
Yeah, just saying is right.
Telling the man, quote, "You're a big shot." Unclear what set the New Jersey governor off. And the terrifying moments high above Western Germany.
Okay, so they didn't even really show the whole clip by itself, but you could hear him go, "Huh, you're a big shot," and it walked away. And the guy yells at him, "I appreciate that." So there we go, New Jersey's governor making New Jersey proud.
And that wouldn't be on fake news at all.
No. That's there's video. It really happened. There's nothing fake about it.
Right.
Now you could defend Chris Christie and go, well, he was being heckled, and hey, if you're heckled and it's pissing you off, what's the problem with getting in someone's face over it? Who has?
And that would be totally true too. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair to say.
However, if you drip your nacho cheese all over them, there might be an issue.
No. The nacho cheese. There was never any threat of a drop of that nacho cheese landing anywhere but right in Chris Christie's mouth.
That's true.
He might not be able to suck his own cock, but he could eat his own nachos. So, what's new with you this week, Venison?
Before you go, okay, extend your time by 30 minutes. Filling out these fucking forms.
Okay.
And I had a wonderful thing happen Friday night.
What was that?
AVG. Yeah, that was it. Update. Program update. Major program update. I let it go for both machines. I decided to do program updates on both machines at the same time that night. And major crash.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, totally. Because something happened to the boot sector. Because of the new section they put in there about the boot sector. Like, oh, wonderful! So, up until about 6:30 tonight, I've been offline up until 6:30 tonight, reinstalling the operating system.
Again.
And programs.
Dang, that sucks.
Totally. I'm still putting programs back in here. And I had to overlay it, not do a wipe and install, overlay it and install.
It sounds like you need to, throw that laptop into a pile of shaving cream.
Yeah, but I can't because they're the only ones at work right now.
I found some more naughty 78s this past week, and that happened to be one of them. I now have a 78 of this old classic. Somehow this song has escaped me all these years.
I have a sad story to tell you. It may hurt your feelings a bit. Last night when I walked into my bathroom, I stepped in a big pile of shaving cream. Be nice and clean. Shave every day and you'll always look keen.
That doesn't even rhyme, though.
Yeah, but the thing is, they play it on the Gong Show too every week.
Yes, I've heard every week. That won't get old.
Each time I say, darling, I love you, she tells me that I'm full of shaving cream.
Okay, that's pushing it. I could see stepping in shaving cream in the bathroom because if you're sloppy, but I've never heard anyone say you're full of shaving cream.
Out of the window, You think that her head would be split, but good luck was with her that morning. She fell in a barrel of shaving cream.
I didn't realize shaving cream came in barrels. Apparently you bought them by the barrels back then. Anyways, yeah. So it's I got lots more we'll get into, but I've made some other purchases this week. I purchased a washer.
A washer?
Yeah. And,
did you get screwed?
Yes, earlier I mentioned this to Brian when we were going over things we could talk on the show, and I said I bought a washer. And he's like, what, you mean like a metal thing with the...
Disc, metal disc.
Metal disc with a hole in it. I was like, yeah, that's my show topic.
Brass or stainless steel?
The stainless steel. I always stainless steel. Yeah, you got to go with the stainless steel. And this is such a good washer, I'll never need to buy another washer again. I just keep moving it around to whatever screw I need it on at that moment in time, and it's.
Well, why didn't you just drill a hole in pennies?
Yeah, this is Brian's trick, because Brian went to the hardware store, and you found how much were washers?
Somewhere between 3 and 5 cents a piece.
Right. So he went home, grabbed all his pennies, and drilled holes in them. Cheapest washers you ever got.
They're going to be outside anyway, so I didn't want to use something that would rust.
Right. There you go.
The penny is mostly zinc with a layer of copper on it, but that's fine.
Well, have any federal agents showed up to arrest you though? Because isn't it a federal offense to deface money?
Yeah, but any tourist place you go to, you see that thing will squish a penny. That's legal.
Is it legal?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, has anyone declared... no one's declared it to be illegal, but has it been declared to be legal?
Well, it might be illegal if you put it on a
I think there
track.
was a court case on it, and that would be something somebody could Google. Hey, one of our listeners could actually post in, hey, this is the truth.
Who would actually take that to court?
Right. Which court would take it? They would just have a good chuckle.
Oh, man.
And the big question is, why do we actually make pennies still? Because they really do. I think today they're like 7 cents a piece to make.
Right. Although, I mean, it's kind of a shock factor that something costs more than it's worth to make. But it's not how much it costs. It's the value it represents. Or something like that.
Yeah, but it doesn't. Well, and I think the only reason why we still make the penny. I mean, Australia doesn't make a penny anymore. The UK doesn't have that equivalent.
They have a good lobby. They have a big lobby. There's a big lobby to keep the penny.
What, the U.S. Mint is behind this lobby?
I think it's the.
I don't think they give a shit either.
No, there is a lobby that is really behind keeping the penny. I think it's the Lincoln people.
Well, and actually, it was going to. I think you really kind of broke the whole straw there, because that's where I was going. Is the only reason why we do it is because Lincoln's face is on there. That's it. But then again, Lincoln has been on all kinds of bills. I think he was on the $500 bill. I think.
No, Lincoln's on the 5.
Yeah, but he was also on $500 bill. But we don't make that anymore.
No, someone else was on the 500. We didn't double up on those.
No, he was on 5 different levels of currency at one point.
Well, maybe
they were just showing this on the Pawn Stars.
Maybe in olden times, but actually,
this is not recent, and we don't make a 500 anymore.
No, but the last 500 we made had McKinley. McKinley's on the 500, and Grover Cleveland's on the 1,000.
5,000 then. Who's on the 5,000?
Who's on the 5,000? Woodrow Wilson's on the 100,000. But that's that way. Let's see if there's a 5,000. Madison is on the 5,000.
Okay, there was a big denomination they have Lincoln on it, but it's not that important.
Yeah, and
the point is they don't make those anymore with Lincoln's face on it, and nobody bitched about it. Of course, then again, who can afford a $5,000 bill or whatever?
And the 10,000 has someone that I don't think is a president. Chase. Salmon P. Chase is on the 10,000.
Who the hell was he?
He was a big wheel in American politics. Chase, a mid-19th century politician, served as Chief Justice of the United States, spent stints as Ohio's governor and senator, and was Lincoln's first Secretary of the Treasury.
There you go.
When the federal government started issuing greenback notes in 1861, Chase, as Secretary of the Treasury, was in charge of designing and popularizing the new currency. The politically ambitious Chase had to pick a portrait subject for the first dollar bill, and he chose Salmon P. Chase. Although putting his face in everyone's pocketbooks never propelled Chase's presidency, when the Treasury started issuing the new $10,000 bills in 1928, they put Chase's portrait on the obverse to honor the man who helped introduce modern banknotes. Chase National Bank, the forerunner to Chase Manhattan Bank, was named in his honor. So
his picture appeared before he was dead?
On the dollar bill, apparently.
Wow, that's frightening.
That is.
We always think of dead presidents, although when you look at Hamilton and you look at Benjamin Franklin, they were never president.
Right.
So it doesn't always fit.
Warhawk writes in, due to situations beyond my control, Derailment Radio will be on an extended hiatus till further notice. Dune sends in a Wikipedia article about the elongated coin, which also means that Dune kept listening through the whole political rant. So,
right.
Kudos.
Dune, you're the man.
I think the barroom piano music.
It was the music. Yes,
it works. It works.
We can change that.
Here we go. The process of creating elongated coins is legal in the United States, almost all parts of Japan, South Africa, and parts of Europe. In the United States, U.S. Code Title 18, Chapter 17, Section 331 prohibits the mutilation, diminution, and falsification of United States coinage. The foregoing statute, however, does not prohibit the mutilation of coins if the mutilated coins are not used fraudulently, i.e. with the intention of creating counterfeit coinage or profiting from the base metal. Because elongated coins are made mainly as souvenirs, mutilation for this purpose is legal.
So if you were doing that to make money off the metals,
right,
it would be a violation.
Or to scrap the metal to try to, like, for example, we're talking about how, if you tried to get scrap copper out of it to see if you could get more.
Of course, the government can collect gold coins as they did in the 20s to turn those back into the raw metal.
Right.
That's not a violation because it's the government doing it.
Yeah, the government's allowed to do it. So your turning pennies into washers is not increasing the. You're not doing that for fraud. So that's correct. All right. You're in the clear there.
Yes. Thank you for keeping me out of jail.
Oh, Dune writes in. No, he did not. Oh, you actually tuned out for the. But you missed. You missed the fun bar piano music. You know what we should do? If we could get stereo...
Just mentally tuned out.
You know what? If YouTube still allowed us to do stereo sound through the easy method of doing a hangout, we could have just panned the bar music to one side and pan my voice to the other side, and so Dune could just, pan over to, the right, and like he normally does, and just listen to some, bar piano music while I do my thing. And then when the piano music stops, I pan my voice back to center, and we're back. And he knows it's okay. So he doesn't have to miss it. Because he might have missed a little bit after we finished.
Right.
I didn't even say anything that bad. I just said that, I'm surprised at their move. I did compare Trump to a cum rag, so there was that. Moving right along. No. Don't do it.
You didn't really do that.
Put the mouse down, Dune.
yeah.
Just kidding.
Actually, I did do that.
He's not.
It was subtle.
No, it wasn't.
What kind of rags do you think are on the floor next to him? Anyways,
what?
Yeah. So elongated coins legal is the whole point of that. I found an article more about the whole penny lobby thing. It's the zinc industry that has a lobby that keeps pushing to keep the penny.
Sure.
The zinc industry. You know, this is why I have so much problems with what goes on in Washington. And all these lobby, you know, we got way too much representation of big industries and big money, and not enough representation of like we the people, the actual people. I mean, who is
well, the reason why we use zinc, of course, is because it's extremely plentiful and it's very cheap. Right. I mean, we're not going to move to copper because we're mad at the zinc industry.
Right.
Because copper is more expensive.
No. We
would be melting the copper down to get the metal against the law.
Well, the point is no one's doing anything about being mad at the zinc industry. The zinc industry is basically continuing keeping the penny around, which is doing us no good. I mean, plenty of other countries have demonstrated that you can do away with the penny, save a bunch of money, just round to the nearest 5, and be heck, we could get rid of the penny and the nickel in one fell swoop. We only need one decimal place, and then we can get the gas stations to shut the fuck up about these 9/10 of a cent. Who the fuck are they think they're fooling? Just round it up to the damn penny.
You know, when I was working a store in Radio Shack, and I was on a manager at the time, and I'd see all these things on the wall, you kind of go, you know what? All of this stuff is discontinued. So I took it all down and put it on the junk table. And I put, you know, and I went through the list, and there is a suggested price for the discontinued items. So I, you know, went down and I priced it. Sometimes using that guide, or I would just put $1.
Right.
An even dollar, right? Not 95 cents, not 99 cents, 1.00. And I had a customer came in and looked at it and says, "This is not a proper price." The fuck it isn't! Where did you get that shit? Except I didn't yell at it.
You should have marked it down to $1 minus a tax on $1, so that it would actually ring up the even dollar.
Well, actually, there's a store in Singapore that's like a dollar store that includes the tax
in their dollar.
So when they say always $2, it's actually always $2 is their motto. You walk out and let's see, you got 5 items. Okay, that'll be $10.
So it's a $2 store.
Yeah. Well, the Singapore dollar is like worth 75 cents. In fact, they're just coming. This outfit is just coming out here now, and here their items are $1.50.
I
but
see.
That doesn't include tax because we're idiots.
No, of course.
You know, yeah. Why doesn't the price include tax? Because that's not the way we do it here.
No, we don't. Anyways, I realize we talked all about your washers, but we didn't actually talk about my washer. So
and that was actually the point. Yes.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: is that Gothard and Mike, they have this camp up in Maine, a little cabin that Mike bought some years ago, and so I spent a lot of time in the summer up there in Maine at the cabin on the lake, and they started, this year the new purchase they made was they bought one of these small washers off of Amazon. And it's a cool little device, actually. Let me, you know what? I'll bring up a picture of it so you can see it, and I can go ahead and close some tabs here too while I'm at it. But yeah, it's $180, and mind you, there is a washer in the basement of this building that charges $2 per load, and then the dryer charges $2 per load. And now, so I could use this washer, and I could continue to take the clothes down to the dryer, use it there. But I actually, We get a lot of good sun coming in the kitchen window, and I bought a few cheap racks that I can kind of hang the clothes up on, or maybe I could put a line in the backyard. I don't know. I'm going to try using a rack in the kitchen in the window where the sun comes in. See how that goes, because I like the idea of being able to do laundry without having to leave the apartment. This is a nice idea, because going down 2 flights of stairs and then forever running out of quarters and buying more and more quarters. I'm going through $25 a month to do laundry.
Do you have an elevator in your apartment?
No. It's
so you're like the Big Bang Theory guys.
But
you're going up only 2 flights instead of 5.
Right, because in the basement, and it's this very narrow spiral staircase. Here, I'm going to share, so you can check this out. $180. Now, mind you, like I said, I'm spending $25 a month in quarters to do laundry. So if I make this work, this thing pays for itself rather quickly. And it attaches to my sink. It's kind of like an old school washer in that it's got different cycles that it runs through. You run it, basically it just has a timer that it runs through the whole spinning the wash around for, and then you drain it, and then it's got a second compartment that spins it to wring it out. It's like an old wringer washer, except that you don't have a crank wringer. You actually have this spin cycle compartment next to it. As you can see, there's 2 compartments there. I think this is the bottom of one of the tanks. This is the spin cycle tank. So it's and they have it in the camp, and they like it. They talk about how great it is, and they say, "Hey, you should get the one for your apartment. It would be perfect for an apartment." You just hook it up to your sink, set the water temperature to what you want it, and run a few loads through it. And
this will save you from going back to the creek and using a rock.
Yeah, not that I was doing that. This will save me running through $25 worth of quarters every month and having to run up and down the stairs multiple times every weekend. So yeah, it's a cool little unit there.
Yeah, it does look cool.
Yeah.
What are the reviews? I can't see them on your screen because they're too small.
Reviews are 55% 5-star, 19% 4-star. So that's like 75% are saying it's good. 85% are 3 or higher. There are some 1 and 2-star reviews. There's 11% 1-star reviews, and those are some reviews about the thing broke down and I had to return it. And returning something that big or having to ship something that big back is, that's no fun. I could see sending bad reviews there, but it's a small percent of negative experiences, and I've spoken to someone personally that's had a positive experience with one of these.
Right.
So,
and then how does it go in the comparison section compared to other models?
Well, this is there are $100 models that are smaller, that are like the type of things that would sit on a counter. So that's kind of where it compares to. In fact, this particular one. See, here's the ones that you find a lot of, like these $100 models. This second one over here and this third one here are both under $100, but they're smaller. They'll fit on a counter. I'd have to do multiple loads there.
Why does that fourth one look like a toilet?
Because the lid's open.
It's got a yeah, right.
And that thing's a little more advanced. That's a $250, and there's a $300 thing down over here. Right. But this particular model is the one that they got, and it comes in 3 sizes, and the middle size is the size that they got for the camp. So they recommend that. I could have gone with the 15-pound model for another $20, but I figured that looked big enough from what I saw in the camp. Right. So yeah, that'll be nice. I have my own washer here in the apartment here.
Right.
Little apartment unit. There you go.
So you're going to hang the underwear all over the place.
Well, yeah.
Cool. No, I think that'll be a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll have to update you all, how this goes, how this whole operation goes, and how long before I flood out my kitchen.
So just for fun, you still have that Amazon screen up?
I do.
Yeah. So search for manual washer.
Okay.
And see if you see that's something that's like egg shaped.
I see something that's propane tank shaped.
Does it have a manual crank on it?
It sure does.
Yeah, so pop that up and share that one.
All right, so here's what we got here. The laundry alternative Wonder Wash non-electric portable compact mini washing machine. So for $40 you can just crank your wash. I like my method better.
Oh yeah. But this is just for entertainment value.
Oh yeah, this is.
Can you imagine cranking that bastard?
No, I cannot.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is a awful idea.
There's this other one that I saw that was, shaped more like an egg, and it had a stand like that you could just crank. Like, okay.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the egg. I'm seeing the propane tanks is what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Same idea though.
Yeah, it is. And that goes for how much?
Well, it's marked down to $38.99.
Look at that, a bargain.
Yeah. So there you go. So anyways, you might remember a few weeks ago I had found some naughty 78s. And I went and I bought more, as I demonstrated with the shaving cream.
You'll buy porn anywhere.
Well, no, they're fun. They're fun, and I've not listened to these yet. This one, I'm not sure if it's naughty or not, but it looked like a unique label, and so I picked it up anyways. And this one's called The Closet Underneath the Stairs. And I figure, well, what's going on in the closet underneath the stairs?
Like Harry Potter?
I don't know. It could be. So this could be something good. This could be something bad. But let's find out what's going. Oh, it's not a nice sound already.
They tried it on the sofa. They tried it on the chase. They tried it near the fireplace. Too much blaze. They tried it on the bearskin rug. They tried it on the chairs. But the only place for that crocheted pillow was the closet underneath the stairs. They tried it in the shower. They tried it in the tub. They tried it on the you-know-what. Too much rub. They tried the lavatory. Tonight just wasn't theirs. So the only place for that scented soap was in the closet underneath the stairs. People seem to like
scented soap, crochet. What is it? I see what they're implying. I don't get it.
Keep it out of sight. They tried it in the plum tree. They tried it on the ground. They tried it on the high board fence. It broke down. They tried it in the stable. It frightened all the mares. So the only place for that bright red hammock was the closet underneath the stairs. They tried
the only place for that bright red hammock. Okay, all right. They tried it everywhere. I see what they're doing there. That's a cute little song.
Yeah.
I kind of like that, where they're just listing all the different places they tried it. Let's see, now I got a bunch more of these Whiz records.
Different places, yes.
This title looks interesting. This one's called Drugstore Jake. So I don't know if he's a dealer or if he's just trying to buy some rubbers from the over the counter there, or what's going on with Drugstore Jake. But
hello, Kill 'em All Drugstore. Oh, hello, Mrs. Lipschitz. I see. You want something for a cough. I'll send you over a bottle of castor oil right away. What's that? You say castor oil isn't any good for a cough? The hell it ain't. You take it and you better not cough. Goodbye. I guess I know my business.
Good morning.
How do you do? What can I do for you?
I want 25 cents worth of frog's hair.
Frog's hair?
That's what I said, frog's hair.
Oh, yes, frog's hair. You want blonde, brown, or brunette frog's hair?
I want blonde frog's hair to match my hair.
That's right, you're a blonde, so you want blonde frog's hair. Now, let me see. Frog's hair. Could you use a little duck fuzz? What are you laughing at?
You big jerk. Frogs don't have any hair.
They don't?
Of course not. How dumb can one guy get? Frog's hair.
So I'm a jerk. I'm dumb, huh? The next one that comes in here and tries to pull a fast one on me, I'll chuck him out on his asthma gas.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Is this the drugstore?
Well, what does it look like, a livery stable?
I couldn't tell. I see a jackass behind the counter.
Never mind the wisecracks. What do you want?
I want 10 cents worth of mothballs.
You want 10 cents worth of what?
You heard me. You ain't blind. I want 10 cents worth of mothballs.
Look, my friend, do you know that frogs don't have any hair?
No?
No, so how can a moth have you get the hell out of here.
Go fuddle your duddle.
Well, go fuddle your own duddle. My duddle's all fuddled out.
Oh, good morning. Are you the clerk?
Yes, ma'am, I'm the clerk.
Do you have any red ball face powder?
No, but I have some blue ball gunpowder.
Oh, I couldn't use that.
I didn't think you could.
Well, give me some X-Lax.
X-Lax?
You know what X-Lax is, don't you?
Oh, sure. X-Lax is a chocolate with a fluid drive.
Well, what I really came in for is some Bust Developer.
Bust Developer?
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's something that'll really put the bumps in your sweater. Just step in that room to your right. Apply this, and in 2 minutes you won't know yourself.
Oh, I'll try it right away.
Well. Howdy, young fella.
Howdy.
Say, do you have something that'll grow hair on a bald head?
Yes, sir. You take this little bottle of hair restorer. Step in that room to your left. Rub some on your head and watch the hair grow.
Well, I'll be darned if I don't try it right away.
Well, business is sure picking up.
You dirty bum! What did you sell me?
I sold you some Bust Developer.
Bust Developer? Then why is this hair growing on my chest?
There must be something wrong.
Dad, rat your ornery hide. I ought to sue you. What did you sell me?
I sold you some hair restorer.
Hair restorer? And what in the hell are these two bums doing on my head?
Whoa.
That was silly.
Whoa.
That was silly.
Yes, it was.
I think there was a labeling issue there.
There was a what?
Labeling issue.
Labeling issue? Why is that?
Product label.
Yeah. I think
I guess.
Now, Dune is sending me links to. He sent me a link to a $200 compact dryer. You know what? That'll be after the washer pays for itself. Maybe we'll think. Well, let's see how this works first, and then he sends me a mounting bracket for a dryer and top load washer. All right, Dune's turning this into more of a multi-year pay for itself project. You know, let's do this one step at a time, okay? I love your enthusiasm, though. All right, so the other side of this is called School Days. Let's see if this is a song or another sketch.
School day, dear old Walden day. Good morning, teacher.
Good morning, children. Our first lesson today will be history. Lucille?
Yes, teacher.
Who was the father of our country?
George Washington was the father of our country. First in war, first in peace, first in the hearts of his countrymen.
First in war, first in peace, first in the hearts of the countrymen.
Children, remember, this is a schoolroom.
The teacher.
What is it, Bozo?
She's wrong. George Washington wasn't first in everything.
Well, what wasn't he first in?
Didn't he marry a widow?
Bozo, just for...
Okay, that's lame.
Oh, brother. I
That.
think I've run into a little problem here.
So I think Brian's sharing a screen. Oh, he found a mini portable countertop spin dryer. Right. Well, basically the washer,
and it's $100.
Yeah, but that I already have because that just rings it out.
You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but Brian, the washer I have, the second compartment is the spin cycle, so it's a spin dryer to wring it out. It's still going to be damp when it comes out of there, though. That's where you need to kind of, hang it to dry the rest of the way. So
we have to see if that's heated.
This I already have, I think, unless this has a heater in there as well.
Oh my God!
All right.
Real quick.
That's what it would need.
Real quick. Yes, Venison.
Yeah, real quick here. Like I said, I'm up here like filling out these medical forms like you wouldn't believe. All right, I've gotten to almost all of them except where they ask you do you have medical records at any other place in your lifetime? I said, yeah. Name a place. United States Navy. Name contact. Street name.
Well, was there a Navy facility you last visited?
Wouldn't that be the U.S. government?
No. Last visit. Next visit. First visit.
Maybe you should just say no.
Reason for visits or services.
Go with no. Any records anywhere else? No. No. No, there aren't.
But they might look at that as a lie because there are records.
Okay, but you can't see the answer to the other question, so...
yeah, I know. It's
or
like, what do you do?
Just say, I'm not lying, just put in unknown. Because you don't know what records are still out there.
Yeah.
That's not
well,
a lie.
Yes, they, those records pretty much are because, let's face it, if you're a part of, if you did anything for the government and there's records of it, especially medical, that's lifetime. You're in there for good. It's like the mafia. You don't quit.
Yeah. Well, they're out there somewhere, I suppose. I guess do the best you can.
U.S. Navy should cover you.
Yeah.
And how long ago was that?
Way back. Let's see. I'm going to hit save to see what happens. Nope. Error.
Error.
Address. Address, phone number, and zip code. Screw it.
Well, while Venison figures out how to fill this form out, we got this next one that's called Yodel Song. So hopefully it's some good examples of quality yodeling. Clearly that's got to be what's on here.
He wears cowboy shirts and hats, high heel boots and woolly chaps, strums a guitar the whole day long, and he keeps on yodeling the same old song. I love to lay-hee, 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 hoo, ole, ole-hee, hoo, and I can lay-hee, lay-hee, lay-hee all night through. Now I don't need
I guess this is more of a novelty type of song than a goofy song. Or a naughty song. Yeah, that's a duck call song is what it is. Well, the other side of this is just called Peter, and I don't know if that's referring to anything. But let's check out Peter.
Mary is as pretty as a girl can be, with an awful lot of personality. She's turned down more millionaires than any girl I ever knew. She's simply mad about a poor young lad, his name is Peter Drew. Oh, how she loves Peter. Her friends agree she's crazy as can be. She could be wearing sables, diamond rings and such, but as it is, they say she loves her Peter much too much. Peter has no pride or conscience, hasn't got a soul. Outside of that, he's yellow through and through. Mary thinks he's just ideal, but corner him and hear him squeal. He will crawl in any hole, and what can Mary do? Oh, how she loves Peter.
So she loves Peter. I think that's code for something.
He crawls in any hole.
Yeah, he crawls in any hole. Yeah, I think I figured that one out.
Yeah.
And speaking of Peter, you know who else I think likes Peter? Now this is one I bought a while ago, and it turns out. Remember last week we played the Pistol song, and that was Ruth Wallace. And I found a lot more Ruth Wallace records this week. But I also have this Ruth Wallace record I bought a few years ago that I've played this on the show before. But there's a great song here about the Admiral's daughter. And it's a fun little song.
Sailing, sailing over the ocean blue, the Admiral's daughter is after Davy and his dinghy too. She first saw Davy in a big parade, a show of strength that the Navy made. There were subs and cruisers and all the best, but Davy's little dinghy stood out from the rest. Ship boy, sailor boy, don't you get too springy. The Admiral's daughter waits down by the water. She wants to ride your dinghy.
I think we see what she's saying here.
Yeah.
She likes Davy's dinghy.
Little dinghy.
Little dinghy. Davy's little dinghy. Apparently, Davy knows how to use his little dinghy.
Mm-hmm.
So
if this is a little dinghy, he better.
Yeah. There's another fun song on this record about a sweater. I don't remember how this one goes, but we'll find out soon here.
Loretta's a sweater girl now. Loretta's a better girl now. How does she steal away each fella's heart? She's got two outstanding reasons. She's cute and she's smart. Loretta, Loretta, what she does for a sweater. Loretta is a sweater girl now. Loretta is really a wow. Loretta is in there and how. A shepherd from Denver let out with a peep. The wool looks better on Loretta than it did on the sheep. A mountaineer who climbs just for danger and thrills said he'd rather do his climbing up in them thar hills. Loretta, Loretta, what she does for a sweater. Loretta is a sweater girl now.
I take it Loretta looks good in a sweater. I think was the message in that song there.
It seems evident, yes.
It seems that she's filling out rather nicely into that sweater. And has quite a nice shape for the sweater. Loretta's got boobs, I think is what the point of that song is. One might say that Loretta's got boobs.
At least that's implied.
That's certainly implied. So that now we get to the ones that I just recently bought. Now I don't know if all her songs are as naughty, but they're certainly all fun. Because I played this record and it's fun. And this one's called Ubangi.
She's the topic of the tropics on the Ivory Coast, a Lulu of a Zulu, and they love her the most. A true Ubangi mate instead of saying how do, she says, Ubangi, me bangy too.
Ubangi,
her mama and her
me bangy
papa,
too.
They are worried no end. They feel their daughter hadn't ought to make both strangers and friends. Afraid that the fellas might misconstrue when she says, Ubangi, me bangy too. They beat their tom-toms.
Apparently that's native for something other than what it sounds like. I think is what the point of it. But it's a fun song, too. It's just, a fun beat to it. What do you think, Vincent? Aren't these fun songs?
It could be.
We might have to do a Saturday night show just playing some of these songs all the way through.
When she says, you, me,
yeah, why not?
She's giving Congo lessons back in her bamboo hut.
But yeah, so that's and I haven't. Now I got a lot more of these. I have not even that one I sampled a little bit last night before I head off to bed. But the rest of these, I bought them all this past week and have not even played them yet. So I don't even know which are the A sides or the B sides. See, this one has Chili Was Hot, but Willie Was Not, or The Love Samba. Now both of those could be good. Let's hear about Chili and Willie. I'm thinking that one's going to be a fun song.
Willie and Lily were married for years, and Willie was not doing right. Lily would toss and turn, it appears, while Willie slept right through the night. And so she decided to take him away on a romantic cruise South America way. She wanted to make a little hidey-di-di before the fountain of youth ran dry. When she returned and they asked her how was it, this was her reply. Chili was hot and Willie was not. Oh, I was in such a terrible spot. I thought he'd remember those things he forgot, but Chili was hot and Willie was not. The doctor told...
So basically, Willie's lost his drive, so to speak, is the point of this song, I think.
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right. Apparently, this chick is married to some dude named Willie, and he's kind of like Stanley Roper. Just not interested anymore. Although I don't know that he does that thing where he, turns, faces the camera and laughs at his own joke like Stanley Roper would. But the point is, Willie, not all that into the sex anymore. Kind of a sad story, It's nice that they had that upbeat to put this sad story to. Let's see, this next one here has got Down in Montevideo, or The Bells song. Brian, which one do you think sounds like a fun song?
The Bells.
The Bells? You want to go with The Bells? All right.
Oh.
What do you think, Venison? Want some bells?
Why not?
Ooh, these are some nice bells.
The land of the harem, the land of the fez, is the land that lies down around Suez, where a dancing girl from Pennsylvania is now the rage of the Mediterranean. She's the Turkish delight of the Dardanelles. Instead of 7 veils, she wears 7 bells. 2 on her ears and 1 in her nose, 1 on each of her great big toes. There are 2 more bells, but don't ask me where. Her mother knew her daughter, so she hung them there. Tinkle, tinkle, little bell, no one's going to harm our Nell. She shimmies and wiggles just like a snake. The bells serenade every move she makes. This is nothing but trouble for all of her beaux, because she has music wherever she goes. And if they don't exercise self-control, then everyone knows for whom the bells toll. Tinkle, tinkle, little bell, no one's going to harm our Nell.
So she's got bells on her boobs, I think, is what they're getting at there.
Or is just a belly dancer.
Yeah, well, they said there were 2 bells.
Well, that would be, yeah.
Well, they gave the
Would probably
inventory.
be where it would be, yeah.
Yeah, they gave the bell inventory. And there were 2 that they wouldn't tell us where they were. I don't think they were on her butt. It could be, But that I'm thinking that they're hanging from the nipples is what's going on here. I don't know. Venison, what do you think?
It could be hanging everywhere.
Or anywhere, yeah. Could be on the hips.
Could be on the hips. Could be on the hip. Yes.
Hope it's on hips.
But anyways, I found a better Yo-Yo song. Is this the Better Yo-Yo song? Oh no, this is not the Better Yo-Yo song. We don't need to replay this one. There was another Yo-Yo song, but I don't think I have the record of that one. I found out there is a Ruth Wallace Greatest Hits CD in existence that you can order off of Amazon. So if you like what you hear, you could check out all of this great stuff on CD or MP3 download if you're into kinky shit like that. Let's do one more of these and then find another topic to end the show with, because I think Brian's about to fall asleep over there. Is that about right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, this one's called Long Playing Daddy. And I'm thinking a record about a daddy. That's got to be good, clean fun, right there. You know, this is got to be a family record. So,
hopefully.
I went down to the record shop to look for something pop. I took a look around, and what do you think I found? I found a long playing daddy down at the record store. I found a long playing daddy, don't want those others no more. I used to have the old-fashioned kind. He used to stop, I had to start him up by giving him a wind. But with a long playing daddy, he plays all night long.
Well, this is an unusual song in her collection because we've gone from singing about innuendos to talking about record formats and how the newfangled LPs now play longer, and you don't have to, you know, crank up your record player and keep changing the record every song.
Apparently, that's what it's about.
That's exactly what she said. I'm kind of confused that we didn't have an innuendo on this one.
Maybe it was too subtle.
I don't know what you're talking about, Brian. Clearly, she's talking about. She's talking about records.
Talking about records, yeah, right.
Yeah, no, it was.
What was her name again?
Ruth Wallace. And I find it funny that she's singing about LPs, and I'm buying all these songs on 78s. So she's singing about the better technology that her music is not out on. I believe these songs were available on 45s as well. This is from the 50s when 78s and 45s are kind of existing side by side. And, you know, 78s are getting ready to wind down. But I don't know that she actually had LPs. I'm not sure on that, though. I haven't done my homework on that. But I do know that these same songs did come out on 45s in addition to 78s. But that's interesting that she's promoting the new format, you know, doing her part to help move technology along into the right direction.
Well, the Wikipedia says her record label started in 1952.
Yeah, Wallace Original?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so these are 50s records when 78s and 45s are coexisting.
So the actual greatest hits album is called Boobs.
Yeah, well, that's one of her songs. I don't actually have the song Boobs. I also don't have...
That's the title of the album.
Yeah. Well, that's the title of the greatest hits album, which I think is a more recent concoction. And she was born in Brooklyn. She began her career singing jazz and cabaret standards. She gained fame in the 40s and 50s for her risque satirical songs, rife with double entendres that she wrote herself. She did have a mainstream hit with Dear Mr. Godfrey, a song about Arthur Godfrey's public firing of Julius La Rosa. She sang with a studio orchestra, often took on an accent for songs about characters from other countries. Her music was occasionally featured on the Dr. Demento show in the 70s. Let's see. These songs discuss a number of topics that were taboo in the 1950s America, such as homosexuality and infidelity. For this reason, her songs were banned from Boston radio stations. She often had difficulty securing distribution for her works, so she started her own record label, Wallace Original Recordings. When she arrived in Australia for a tour, customs agents seized her records. Rather than ruin her career, this only brought out crowds. Wallace retired in the 70s, spent more time with her husband and 2 children, but continued to work on material for Broadway shows. Some of her most famous songs were collected and became the off-Broadway hit Boobs the Musical, The World According to Ruth Wallace. Boobs opened at the Triad Theater in New York City on May 19, 2003. By closing date, it had played nearly 300 performances. Produced and choreographed by Lawrence Luritz, it has had subsequent runs in New Orleans and Wichita. Oh, heck, Dune could have gone and saw this. And she died in 2007 in Connecticut. The last release was Ruth Wall's Greatest Hits, Boobs, on December 1st, 1998, of the label. Oh, so yeah, that was a much more recent release. But that goes to show they kept the right to the catalog. They didn't sell it off. That's interesting. That is great. Boobs the Musical. Oh, man, I wish I knew about that. But yeah, you get a greatest hits. There's 19 songs right there. It's got it's got a lot of great songs on there. It's got the Pistols song. It's got the Admiral's Daughter. It's got another dingy song on it. It's got the Yo-Yo song on it. All right, so Brian, what else is new with you?
Oh yeah, I can't think of anything. Yeah, so new topic time.
Yeah, you're getting bored with this, so I thought we would change the topic.
No, not really. I was kind of.
Oh, there was something you said we didn't get to last week. Oh, Rob's little thing. So yeah, one of our mutual friends. Well, if we're friends on Facebook, that counts, right? I haven't spoken to him since I left Tharco.
Sure.
But we see each other in passing on Facebook now and then. So and you actually Brian here responds to everything.
Well, he does post a lot of things, and sometimes they're interesting topics. So hey, why not?
Well, here's
That's
the thing.
What friends do, right?
Right. No. Well, the reason we observe this is because Kristen isn't that active on Facebook. But whenever she posts on the Facebook, she gets likes and kudos from family members, and some and a reply that is usually an attempt at humor from Brian. So kind of the joke is, oh, Brian replies to everything. Is kind of the ongoing
I
joke.
like, she posts a bunch of artwork, and I like it.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Oh no, don't get us wrong. We like your comments.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's always our comment.
I mean, that's what people are supposed to do instead of just scrolling through and ignore anything or being offline for months. Like this one musician was on a lot of different forums, etc. Plays bass, and a couple years ago he just disappeared.
That happens.
Some of his own forums that he's behind, he got turned into nothing. And then, like a week ago, he started posting stuff on Facebook. Hey, dude, where have you been?
Well, sometimes life happens.
And he posts this long letter on why he was stepping away, like a big experiment, whatever. Yeah, okay, that's cool, but that's fine. Hey, look, social media is a big waste of time. You know
that because
a lot of musicians. Yeah. Hey, you know what? Instead of wasting all this time on social media, you ought to be practicing your instrument. And that's true. Or doing stuff. Hey, get out and do something. And it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so stop listening to our show. Go out and do something, right?
Go out and do something.
Right. Because this is just social media.
Exactly.
So... But I think I kind of got detoured from what we're talking about. We're talking about this guy, Rob.
Right. Rob was the guy that replaced Brian, and he's doing a little podcast.
I would call him Brian Jr., but wait a minute. I think I'm the only guy that does.
You're the guy that mostly. Well, for a while when you left and he started there, your name tag was put up on the cubicle he sits in. And
it was.
I thought you did that.
I don't remember.
I think that lasted for like a day.
Actually, I saw my
Or
name
5
tag
minutes.
I saw my name tag in a box just like a week ago.
Okay, all right. So
maybe I put it up before I left, and then as I left, I grabbed it. That might have happened.
Yeah, I think that may have been happened during because that's right. There was a period of time you were transitioning, so you were working there, he was working there. That's why you two know each other, because you spent some time transitioning over to him. The point is that he's starting to do a podcast of some sort, and it looks like his podcast is gonna focus on topics, but they're going to be very different from week to week, because he was posting looking for questions about vintage video games, and now he's posting asking for questions about barbecuing and smoking, as in cooking smoking. Not
one of his older podcasts, he was talking about a smoker, and although he has a small one, he's just kind of getting into it. His buddy's really into it. So his buddy is kind of talking about how do you do stuff and whatever. And if you're into that kind of thing, no, that can be cool. It's fine.
Yeah. But now, did you listen to any of his vintage gaming podcasts? I haven't had a chance to check it out yet.
I haven't checked that one out. I haven't been back at him. But, I've watched some of it, watched. Because it's on YouTube, you watch it. Although you're just looking at a picture, like one of them, there's a cat with some balls.
Balls, okay.
In the crotch area.
Well, that's generally where balls are.
One with funky dog face or something, whatever it was. But, so, he's on YouTube, but he's not really doing videos. He's just got the still image. In fact, I think he's got one that's like a GIF image that moves around.
Right.
Whatever. But he's gearing his whole podcast up. I suspect it'll get to video at some point. He hasn't really said, they're getting together the equipment.
It sounds like they're still working out some technical things, but he's technically inclined. I'm sure they'll sort that out. It sounded like he had some bandwidth issues.
Could be. Some of the stuff I think they do, and then they edit, and then they post they just post the edited version. Because sometimes the time gap between the topics are and I think that's it.
That's nice to have time to edit. I don't have that. Well, I could if I just spent less time doing other things. Like if I quit my job, I'd have plenty of time to do things. But then I darn landlord insists that I keep paying rent every month.
Yeah. Hey, maybe we could monetize our YouTube channel and make a ton of money.
Yeah, that would require like both our viewers to donate like at least half the rent just to cover rent.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Well, I don't know. Maybe if we got like your wife to sponsor the channel.
I think she'll try to convince me to retire from this when she retires.
Oh, why would you do that? Oh, wait. Well, wait a minute. What? She's not going to retire. How many times?
Not yet.
How many times has she threatened to retire, Brian?
Well, it's not a threat. She's just. How many times has she talked about it? Let's put it that way.
This whole Singapore thing was her last gig because they can't hire her back in California anyway, so she's going to have to retire after Singapore. Yeah.
But she got a job, so she went to a job.
Within the same company.
She is slated to actually retire probably in the next 6 months or so.
She was slated to retire after the Singapore thing, though.
Yeah, but there is a severance that's now in place that she wants to get.
My money's on longer than 6 months.
It could be 8 months. It could be 8 months. But there is a date, a dead date, a drop dead date.
What? She doesn't get the severance if she doesn't leave by a certain time, or?
Well, that's in place, but there is a. Oh yeah, by the way, you will be done at this date. But it could be sooner.
But I don't think anyone's looking to get rid of her, so I think they try to keep her on, and she likes working.
Yeah, but she's already accepted this severance package with a end date, which could end when the project finished, which would be sooner. But if the project continues past that date, it's too bad. You're going to have to do without her because she's going to be gone.
I see. All right. Well, anyways, we don't need to go into the finer details of your wife's career.
Yeah.
The point is she could sponsor the show.
True, she could.
She could.
Yes. Right.
There we go. There we go. And then I could just spend all my time editing shows and figuring out how to blur out my mistakes. And,
right. That's right.
Right.
Or edit them out.
Edit them out. And then we can put last week's show back up.
So are you, by the way, are you, I think you probably have to play the music if I'm going to ask this question.
All right, let's find it.
Wow.
All right. Oh, that's this one. So you're going to ask a question.
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
So are you enjoying Sarah Huckabee Sanders? Yes. I mean, we're just kind of getting used to her whole thing.
I'm not
One of the
really...
most recent showings, she was on this green shirt. And people are saying, why are you wearing that dress?
Oh, yes.
Why are you wearing that green dress? Because now you can put anything on it.
The green screen. That was great. That was absolutely great. I did like the green screen shirt.
Yeah. I mean, perfect.
Oh, yeah. When you
now, I haven't seen that many images with, different images on it. I've seen the plain green and then some, kind of weird patterns or whatever.
Yeah. You could have fun with that.
I'm expecting, Agent Orange being on her shirt.
Oh, yeah, that could work.
Anyway, so that's all I was going to add in that segment, so we can fade out the meat.
We can fade that out. Okay. But no, getting back to, like I said, I haven't had a chance to check out Rob's vintage video gaming episode. Although he was someone asked him about the Power Glove, and I didn't chime in right away because I figured, well, no, I don't have a question about it. I could talk about it, but that's that's Rob's show. We'll let him talk about it. But then Brian goes, I think Johnny's got one. And so by then the show is over, so I point out, another game that it had potential with was, because I asked if there were any games it was good with, and he answered, well, there was two, like a maze game and a punching game. But basically there were two games that were made to work with the glove, is what the answer is. Glove Ball and some kind of street brawler game. But it was also designed to work well with Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. And it's got potential there. The problem I had with the glove when I tried to use it is the sensors kept on losing the center for where the glove was. So my hand had to keep on drifting over, or I had to keep re-hitting the center button. And I don't know. To be fair, let's face it, any Power Glove you're playing with now, you're playing with like a 30-year-old piece of equipment. It is possible that some of the electronics have gone out of spec. Maybe it performed better back then, but it doesn't really have a great reputation, so I'm thinking probably not. I mean, the idea of punching at the screen kind of works, but like I said, it keeps drifting that center, so it makes it difficult to keep control over the game, making it near impossible to actually master a game using it. I think what had some interesting potential was the U-Force controller that had sensors that sensed your hand movements without touching anything. And that was kind of a cool device with Punch-Out, because you had this bar that had mirrors on it that would actually make the sensors sense what's on the side of it, so that you would block by putting your fists down to the side of it, and you would punch by punching towards the different areas of the sensors on this thing that folded out. And that was cool because you could punch with both hands. Whereas the Power Glove, you only punch with one hand to different sides of your range that you're punching at. Anyways, there was some potential there. The technology just wasn't ready. But I think what's really interesting in the world of gaming this past week is there's some shady shit that's coming out about the NES Classic situation. Now, Brian, how much are you familiar with the NES Classic and that whole fiasco? Because we have discussed that some.
Not that much. Just kind of what we discussed, and I've seen a few little bits, but not that much.
Yeah, basically Nintendo released this thing in time for the Christmas rush. They intended to be a fun little thing that they do temporarily, and it sold like crazy. But the thing is like stores were only getting in 10 of them at a time. Mind you, this was a device that everyone wanted to buy one. Everyone's lining up to buy one. The supply chain that's coming into the stores is bringing a store 10 at a time with long periods of time between delivery. Clearly, something has gone seriously wrong here. Why are the deliveries so small and so few? And at first you figure that Nintendo just really sucks at mass production. But I think there's something more shady going on. So back in like December, January, Nintendo announced that we give up. We can't keep up. We are stopping manufacturing on them. Fuck you all. We hate you. Go die. Basically what they may as well have said. It was an absolute dick move on Nintendo's part. And I cannot put into words just how despicable of a company I think they are at this point. They've lost any respect I had left for them. This is not a company that knows how to treat their customers.
Is this because they were, shall we call it, wasting manufacturing line or process on this classic gear when they really wanted the Switch to come out?
I don't think that's...
Is that a possibility?
That's a possibility, but then again, the Switch is also something that is not keeping up with the demand. It is very hard to find a Switch without overpaying for it. Basically, at this point, the NES Classic retailed at $60. You can't touch it for under $250. The Switch, you can find them in expensive bundles. Now, here's where I start to... At first, I figured it was just Nintendo being dicks, but I think something very shady is going on that is just starting to be uncovered here. Because in the past week, ThinkGeek came out with some bundles of Nintendo Classics and crap that they couldn't unload. And it was like a Nintendo Classic plus a Tetris Pieces lamp plus a book. And it would be like $150 or $200 for these bundles. So clearly these bundles were a good price for
rather than bundling it with something that's related to the item, they're just bundling shit?
Pretty much. I mean, it was gaming-themed shit. I mean, it was like a Mega Man bundle with it. So it's relevant. I mean, heck, Tetris, I think, is one of the games on the NES Classic. So the Tetris lamp and the book was like about a Nintendo book. So it is a relevant bundle, but it's crap that ThinkGeek can't sell or haven't sold out of that they want to unload. Now, if you look, you can look at it two ways. One, for $100 to $200, you can get an NES Classic plus other crap you don't want, which is a better price than the $250 they're normally going for. The other way to look at it is ThinkGeek found a way to boost the price over $60 for it. But here's the thing. ThinkGeek was bought by GameStop a few years ago. Where in the fuck is GameStop / ThinkGeek getting this stock from? And they sold out within the day. But they had enough stock to list and sell these for a number of hours over, of course, a period of time during the day. Where in the hell did GameStop get this stock from that has been discontinued since December or January? I mean, here we are more than 6 months later, and suddenly GameStop magically has some stock of this? So the first speculation was they held it back. They were holding back stock. But why would they hold back stock? I mean, is GameStop really thinking in December, let's hold this back so we can make some shitty bundles in 6 months that,
That doesn't even make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense.
Who would do that?
Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
Unless your business model is stupid.
Right. The consensus has been that doesn't make sense, but it still seems very shady. It seems very shady that 6 months after this high-demand thing was discontinued, a GameStop-related company comes out with these overpriced bundles with them. And then Amazon was selling them for retail price off of their, local trucks that they have in certain cities in the country. And people are like, where the fuck is that coming from? And it turns out some emails have leaked that there are liquidators with warehouses that have pallets of NES Classics and Switches, that they are selling thousands of them a week for $220, which is lower than...
Are these guys that are picking up on various gaming places that have gone out of business?
That's the thing. I don't know. Supposedly one of these operations that the email leaked from is a corporation that's owned by 3 people, and a picture is shown. There's a picture in the email chain that shows pallets of these, and no one is releasing the names that are associated with this, and no one's sure how they're getting them. But the point is that there is distribution that is moving pallets of these unopened at $220 to $230 a piece. And that goes to question, what in the fuck has gone wrong? It seems to me that Nintendo is manufacturing these, they're going out, and somehow they're getting intercepted before they get to the normal retail outlets. And stores are getting 10 of them at a time. Stores can't keep up with the sales. Nintendo discontinues them. Meanwhile, there are thousands of these things moving through
do you
plants.
Think that this is, shall we call it gray market?
There's something shady going on. Somehow...
So, if these got out there and Nintendo has nothing to do with it, somehow these characters got a hold of these things, that would be the gray market.
Somehow a gray market...
In the early days of the IBM PC, some outfits couldn't get the rights to sell the IBM PC, so they went to the gray market.
Somehow a gray market is intercepting NES Classics and Switches, because they also have pallets of Switches, which you can't get easily these days.
Sure.
So what... Now here's the thing. People keep on saying it's not Nintendo doing this. But I have to say, I still got a finger pointed square at Nintendo, because to me, if these things aren't getting to stores and these things are ending up in warehouses being marked up, somewhere along the line, Nintendo's doing something wrong. Nintendo has completely lost control over their stock, and they need to do something about it.
What can they do if it's already out their door?
Well, they
have a better control on what and where it goes.
How come any other company doesn't have this problem? Nintendo's doing something wrong if they've lost this much control over their distribution.
No, I'm not arguing with that. It's just, what do they need to do? They do need to fix it. I agree.
They need to fix it. Yeah.
But maybe it's already too late. They discontinued it, and then this shit shows up. And see, that's kind of the problem, and that's a big risk as far as I'm concerned, because this is discontinued, and Nintendo says, "Hey, we've got nothing to do with it. Would you buy that product?"
And the thing is
I wouldn't touch it.
Well, people are, and that's why the warehouses are able to move them for $220, and why people are paying $250.
Well, people are stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
Gray market PCs were being sold all the time. In fact, I worked for a small company that couldn't buy IBM PCs, and we got gray market products.
Here's the thing, Nintendo.
We wanted to sell them.
The thing is that up until this point, it basically looked like Nintendo was shorting the stock, and scalpers were lining up and wedging themselves in the middle there, and it was just a simple case of Nintendo not keeping up and douchebags lining up buying the small stock that's there. But things are showing that, no, it's a bigger problem than that. But Nintendo certainly should have had the insight to see that this was a bigger problem way before it got to this point. I mean, Nintendo should have known that, wait a minute, we're shipping out all this stock. What do you mean stores are only getting in 10? Nintendo should have gotten ahead of this way before it got to this point of discontinuing it and prices inflating to this high and warehouses still moving them around in the gray market.
Right.
I mean, Nintendo's just fucking dropping the ball, and I mean, Nintendo has let their customers down. They've let their customers down here. They're manufacturing a product and they're not getting it to the customers.
Right.
And I mean, what's the point of manufacturing something if you're not going to get it to the customer?
Well, to some extent, you know, when you're talking about bundling, I think RaspberryPiOrg.org, you know, who invented the Raspberry Pi, and they trying to make it cheap, trying to let it, you know, out for the educational market. You know, the price tag is, of course, it's out of the UK, but you know, $35 to $40 is the target price. Yet you'll see those bundled by these third-party outfits for a lot more. And people are kind of screaming about that situation. Well, you know, when you buy the board from the RaspberryPi.org, you know, the $35, that's not going to get it a system that works. So you need some of the other stuff. You need a memory card.
Yeah, I mean, the bundles...
You might need a Wi-Fi card. You might need, you know, a keyboard. You'll need a monitor.
I mean, I did
a LCD screen or something.
I did a bundle, and I did a bundle that came with the board, the power supply, the box, and some heat sinks, and it was a good deal bundle, but I knew what I was getting. I knew it was a third-party repackaging something, but the difference there is that it's not an issue of you only have the option of the bundle because Raspberry Pi is not making enough stock. You could get it direct from Raspberry Pi.
And absolutely, and that's the big difference. Yeah, in fact, my first one was a bundle because it came with a little instruction manual, which is not bad. And, you know, and again, the memory card, the power supply and whatever, and some wires to do the projects, and a little... So, yeah, so that was my first one. And then the second and third one that I got was just the board because I knew what I needed.
Right. And I mean, you can do what works for you. I mean, the bundle could be a good deal.
Yeah.
But you know, but
some
then you
guys are charging a hell of a lot of money for just a little extra shit that they throw in there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's some bad bundles that, you know, shop around, know what you're getting.
Absolutely, and I think that would be the message in that case: is shop around. But with Nintendo, excuse me.
Shop around.
If you can't get the basic item from the manufacturer or through the proper channels, then I think you kind of go, well, shoot. I know what it's really worth. It should be worth $80, right?
Right.
$80.
Well, the NES Classic is $60.
$250. Screw that shit. That's not going. I'm not going to do that.
And yeah, that's what I mean. I'm not spending $250 for the thing. I think it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous to spend $250 for it. I mean, I want one, and I'd pay $60 for one, but absolutely ridiculous that that this black market has inflated it artificially to $250, especially when you find out that thousands of these are moving through warehouses every week.
Yeah.
And it's like,
incidentally, as a definition, gray market means it's a legitimate project. It's just going through back channels. Everything is on the up and up. Okay, they're charging too much. You could have a problem with that. That's fine. But then you have black market, which is actually where people have broken into warehouses and stolen the items.
I think this is gray market.
A whole new thing where, you know, you're dealing with people that are doing things illegally, not just a little shady or whatever. You see what I'm saying?
Right. I think there's something shady going on, but I don't necessarily think it's
I'd be tempted
illegal.
to say Okay, let's get a serial number on one of these and ask Nintendo if they will honor the warranty on it. That would give a clue on its true. They should be able to track it, by a serial number.
The thing is, there are a lot of bootleg copies that are pretty. From what I read on Wikipedia, there are clones that are coming out that are sometimes hard to tell the difference of. So
they're knockoffs, which would be illegal.
Yeah. Now, I don't know that, but here's the thing. From what I understand, the ones that are going through the warehouses are legit. Like I said, this is the stuff that's leaking out. There was an email chain that leaked out about a warehouse that's selling these. No one knows where GameStop got theirs from, but it feels very shady. The whole thing is just stinking in shadiness.
GameStop is a totally legitimate channel.
Right.
And you'd have a warranty with Nintendo.
You'd think so. I mean, yeah, GameStop, I think it's probably going to be legit. Now, if you buy a bootleg one, knowingly or not, it's probably not going to be honored because there should be a way to tell.
Yeah. Let's see, we just got 500 of those this week with the same serial number. Hey, guess what?
Sounds legit.
Yeah, right. To an idiot. That almost rhymes.
Sounds legit to an idiot. That could be a song.
It could be.
But yeah, there's something shady going on, and I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. I mean, it's just, at this point, more things are leaking out. Now, all of a sudden, Amazon was selling them for retail price off of their trucks. So where is Amazon? And how is this stock getting back down to retail price? Because I understand that the ones in the warehouses are moving for over 200. And what's going on with the Switch? And is Nintendo going to do anything about this? Because I think Nintendo's got a serious problem here that they need to address. Because if they don't put a stop to this, they're not going to be able to move anything.
What I found interesting, I was in Singapore when the Xbox One came out.
Right.
And every place you looked in Singapore, you saw no evidence that there was this new gaming console out. Because they were still selling Xbox 360s like crazy, even through Christmas. Well, Microsoft was sending the Xbox One strictly to the American market, so you couldn't buy them anywhere else. You wanted one, you had to come here.
Huh.
But that was, how they dealt with limited manufacturing capability. They say, well, we only have enough for the U.S. market, so that's where we're going to put our focus.
But that's the thing, that they eventually caught up and expanded out.
Sure, yeah, you could go to Singapore or anywhere and get an Xbox One now.
Yeah, and I mean that's the difference here. This was Nintendo put out a limited supply, and before they could catch up, they just cut and run, and really, they had a problem. They have a problem that they needed to get ahead of and needed to figure out and solve.
Right.
Because their name is just going to get dragged into the mud if they don't get ahead of this.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because, Switches are still hard to get a hold of. They've already announced an SNES Classic, so people are already grumbling about, oh, great, how am I going to get one of these? And let me tell you, the pre-orders are going to go through the roof, and I think it's going to be hard to even get a pre-order on that.
Have they missed the wave with the Pokemon Go? To me, there was a limited time where they should have gotten into the Pokemon Go craze, while it was happening. Because who cares about that now, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't follow that stuff.
Yeah. But on social media, you used to always see people saying, oh, yeah, I went to this Pokespot, blah, 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 blah. Now, I think Nick posted one a couple weeks ago. Oh, yeah, I was doing this, that, and I stopped at a Pokestop.
Well, he would.
He's into it, but not that into it.
Yeah.
He spends more of his time on The Sims.
Still?
Yeah, he's back at that, yeah.
No, is he gone back to Sims 3 or is he holding out with Sims 4?
Sims 3, I think.
Yeah, because he didn't. Sims 4 sucked apparently. Anyways, we do try to be educational here on this show, and I think I've learned a lot this week.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I learned you gotta be careful not to step in shaving cream.
That's right. Shaving.
That's right.
You could slip and fall on your
Shass.
Yes.
Yes. But Venison, what have you learned this week?
I've learned to stay away from program updates, lately, because they'll ruin your machine. I've also found out that if you try to fill out a form, they say it only takes 1.5 to 2 hours. It'll take you 4.5 hours, asking you all kinds of questions you can't answer.
Yeah, that's standard procedure.
But at least it's done. It's submitted. Until I get my refusal, so I can take that downtown and get my money back.
There you go. Good stuff.
Yeah, because I need smokes. I've had it with this fucking no cigarette shit. I can't stand it.
And what about you, Brian? What have you learned?
Well, I'm glad that we helped Venison fill out his form.
Yeah.
You did?
Right. Well, we were here for you, buddy.
We offered emotional support.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Offered some suggestions that you ignored. No problem. We're good with that.
Entertaining music to help fill out forms, too.
Yeah. So, and shaving cream. Yeah.
And shaving cream.
Yeah, shaving cream for the form.
Yeah. Yeah, be careful not to slip in shaving cream while filling out the form.
Right.
Really?
And you can get it in
sure
buckets.
could be a lot of it. Boy, there's a lot of it.
A lot of shaving cream.
No, yeah.
A lot of shit, too.
They wouldn't even let me continue on a form unless I put it as go for my cousin.
Yeah.
Johnny, are you familiar with that song that has to do with a bushel and a peck?
A bushel and a peck? I don't think I know that one.
Well, we'll have to do some research on it.
All right, well, that'll be coming up in 2 weeks.
It's an old song. 2 weeks. Yes, absolutely. 2 weeks.
Brian and I are taking next Monday off. Now, Venison wants to connect and do an extra venison stew. I mean, he could always do that. But
what?
Well, we're not going to be here next Monday. But maybe if you want to be, you can.
We'll leave the time slot open.
Yeah.
Oh, the mooch is gone. I just now saw that.
Anyways.
The mooch is gone?
The mooch. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the mooch is gone.
Wrong music for that.
Yeah, he's going to go suck his own cock somewhere, I guess. You know?
Yes. Yeah.
That was a quick firing. I don't think Trump has realized that he's not on The Apprentice anymore. He doesn't have to fire someone every few days.
Yeah, but things are worrying me.
I don't think anybody liked him.
No, but it was fun. It was fun watching professional newscasters talking about innuendo for sucking your own cock. You know?
True.
The different ways they're like suck your own bleep or bleep your own bleep, and then awkward discussions about is that even possible, and just watching the awkward exchanges that came out of that.
That's all on fake news. So,
well, he didn't
really.
Well, no,
he was just sent in by the mob just so to kiss his own ass and shit like that. That's all. But now you got this general guy who's now taken over his job as well as being chief of staff. So let's see, the military and Wall Street are now in charge of things. Does that sound scary?
Well, under President Bannon.
No one's in charge of anything.
President Bannon is behind all this.
Is anyone in charge of anything? Is anything getting done? We got gridlock in Congress. We got an idiot in the White House. We got entertainment about sucking your own cock on TV. I mean,
Putin in control of everything. He went there and said, by his own words, that he will destroy the United States from the inside, and he's succeeding.
It's making for great late night television, though.
It sure is.
Anyways,
It's in movies for this.
Good night to Dune, who was tuned out about 5 minutes ago, and good night to everyone else.
All right, take it easy.
I want to see the James Bond movie for this.
I'm just curious what his whole. I'm just curious what his take on the whole trans tweet thing is, because God, I hope no one defends that.
Oh, that's unreal.
Yeah.
Totally unreal.
You cannot believe the shit I see on Facebook.
Absolutely disgusting. Absolutely. I mean,
well, just a big pool of ignorance.
Trump has demonstrated just how disgusting he is, and I don't understand how anyone can continue to defend him at this point.
His supporters are fucking whacked.
Yeah.
His support. Oh my God! I got 3 of them that I follow on Facebook, and I follow them because just to watch them, just see what they say. And one of them actually said, "Oh, they're so confused about their gender." They'll be confused about their country and their allegiance. They can't be trusted.
They're not confused about anything.
But that's what he thinks.
Yeah, well,
And
he's
that's
the one
what
who's
a lot of
confused.
supporters think. Most of them are like that.
Yeah, well. Anyways, good night, everyone. We're disconnecting now.
All right, we'll see you.
And I got to hit stop.